Hello, this is Patrick from XPression, and I want to show you a feature that's appeared in XPression 6.1 that you might think is helpful. It's XMP Metadata from Adobe. What you're looking at right now is Adobe Bridge, and you're looking at some of our logos and other materials that we use in our sports demo content. If I click on this logo, for example, I right click and I'm going to choose File Info. I've created a custom file info panel where I can put in name information and other values. For example, I've got my city name or school, I've got nickname, whole name, tri-code, RGB values. I've even put in stuff that I'll use later, which are file names. For example, I've got a wordmark file, which is right here, New York wordmark, or team video, which is just a background video, and I've even put in other information, just clerical stuff. What type of image is it? Is it a cutout? Raw artwork, finished photo, whatever, aspect ratio, if it's been approved, and who it was approved by. Now, if you put all this in, you want to check it. If you go into Photoshop, I've got a different file here open, but the same idea. If I go to File Info, it normally comes up looking at you in this basic field, and there's generally not a lot of information, if any. But if you go down to Raw Data, all the information that I've just entered, you're going to find in what they call a schema. So down here is a schema that I was using, which was called US Sports. You'll see the information for sports. City name is Wisconsin Vikings, Wisconsin, Wis, colors, all the information that I've put together. Now, you're looking at that going, why do I care? Let me show you why. I'm going to go into XPression. Here's that Vikings logo. I have the requirement to put in the whole name, which is the city and nickname, a tri-code. I want to show my RGB values for my primary and secondary colors. I want to do my city name on one row and my nickname on another row. Now I've got the logo object selected. I'm going to change it to the New York logo by double clicking it, and you notice things changed. The names changed, the RGB values changed, the city name, team name, the tri-code. There's one for Texas, there's one for Wisconsin. Well, the next question I hope you're going to ask is, how in the world did he do that? I'm going to show it to you twice. First off, this is done in Visual Logic, and I'll show you the big old spaghetti bowl here, and if you look at it real quick, it's very confusing, but I try to neaten it up. But let's do this one better. Let's reproduce this graphic. So I'm going to create a new graphic here, a new scene, and I'm going to add a quad. I'm going to put in the team logo, and I'm going to shrink it down a little bit just so that it fits in our screen here. And move that out of the way. I'll move it over here. Next thing I want to do, I'm going to rename it, and I'm going to call it logo. I want to add a text box. I'm going to do just a couple of these, and I'm going to put in whole name, and then I'm going to put in a quad, and I'm going to put a material in here that I'm going to just call material. And I'm going to call it primary, type, primary color. And I'm just going to add that to my scene right now. Put that up top. And I'm just going to go with that for now. Now, here's the exercise. I'm going to go into Visual Logic. I'm going to look at my scene. I've got a logo. Of the logo, I've got a face. I choose face, I choose metadata, I put that up in the corner. So far, not that impressive. In materials, global, and I believe I called that primary color, did I not? There it is, primary color, and in layer, colors, here's my diffuse, so I want to feed that, and I know I'm going to put it over on the right. The other thing I want to do is whole name. I'm going to go look for text, and I want to work with that. So I'm going to put that up here. I'm going to put the primary color down here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go get myself a function block, and that function block I'm going to grab is called Metadata Selector. I'm going to take that, I'm going to drag that, put that in the middle of everything. Now I'm going to take my logo face metadata, and I'm going to put it to the input of my metadata selector, and then I'm going to come down to the properties, and let's see what we get. Item 1. I'm going to scroll through here and look at this. I got all kinds of stuff. It looks a lot like the panels for data linked. I want to choose whole name. I'm going to click that. And I'm going to take that output for item 1 and I'm going to link it to the whole name field. Now if I look at my graphic, I should, if I've done everything right, look at that, it says Arizona Outlaws. Now I'm going to do one more here. I'm going to add, real quick, I want to add 3 things. Add 3 metadata properties. And the first one I'm going to add is the primary RGB color, which is right here. Choose that. I'm going to choose my secondary RGB color, or my primary G. I did R already. I'm going to do them alphabetically, like a good little artist. And I'm going to choose primary B. There we go. So now I've got those as my choices down here. Now watch what happens when I put all this together. I gotta have to put a little intermediate block here, but I gotta go to colors and I'm gonna take integer color. I'm going to take item 2, which is my RGB value of R. I'm going to take item 3, which is my G. I'm going to take item 4, which is my B. I'm going to take that color value and I'm going to put it right into primary color, and look what happens as soon as I let go of that. Change to red. How come? Because that's the value that's in that graphic. So if I choose another team logo, so select logo, so you kind of get to see the functions that you can embrace from using XMP metadata from Adobe. And again, that's their protocol. XMP is eXtensible Metadata Platform. I believe that's what they refer to. We'll check that out later, but it's XMP metadata. And this is where it benefits you inside of XPression.